Hello dear students, welcome in this online sessions of the 8th standard, and today we are gonna refer one of the lesson which is based on a natural disaster. Now as we all know that disasters are very dangerous and also they are actually making us to panic sometime. So if we move further in this lesson, we will also understand which kind of disasters are there, and basically we will be focusing over one single disaster which is also given in this chapter, which name is tsunami. Now if you are focusing on this kinds of things which is named as tsunami, then you should understand that tsunamis are the disasters which are actually causing due to some kinds of earthquake which is occurring inside the ocean or the sea's body. Therefore, if you go more further, if you want to know more about tsunami, then you can also make yourself to browse over the Google or the YouTube too here. So in this lesson of the 8th standard, chapter number 2, we'll understand that why and in which kind of area tsunami gave its effect, and also which kind of people affected by the tsunami, what are the stories behind that kind of people. So this story of the second lesson, tsunami 8th standard NCERT board syllabus, is referring the basic story related to the three parts. Now in these three parts, several people are there actually who are sharing their stories when they actually went to observe, or you can say like they went to spend their holidays in the Nicobar and Andaman island. Now this is not only of the one island, because the neighboring areas, also the small and big islands, were also infected, or we can say like affected by that. So therefore we'll study the story related to that. Before going further, we need to observe somehow Andaman and Nicobar Islands map, which is actually showing on this board. Now you can see, my dear students, this is divided into several parts, into different parts it has been divided. Now this kinds of all the parts are actually named there, like Northern Andaman, you can see over the image here. Then you can go more further, Middle Andaman, Lower Andaman, Port Blair, then Little Andaman too here. So these are the broken pieces of a single island, or you can say the different islands. That's why somehow it is also known as the archipelagos. That also you need to understand in this lecture. Now if we go more further in this lecture, then we can say that reading in the sentences like the theory related to the textbook is also very interesting here, where we'll understand the basic theories related to the other related to Great Nicobar Island, also as well the Little Nicobar Island too here, which is actually shown inside the figure just behind me, or you can say beside me. This will actually make you guidance that what kind of islands are located there in the directional wise, what are they named also here. So we can say we are getting the Andaman and Nicobar Island, the basic map here. And if you go more further in the story starts like, first of all, the story is giving a detailed information about the tsunami. Now what can be the detailed information better than an image? That let's see the image. Now you can say that the car is actually going under the water and the houses are somehow demolished. Nothing is actually staying there. Everything is trying to go inside the water, because the water is so powerful. It is submerging every kind of thing here. You can see the image, which is actually disaster image, which is showing here that how dangerous this Andaman and Nicobar, or we can say how dangerous this tsunami caused in the area of Andaman and Nicobar. So moving further, my dear students, we will also understand the basic details, and I will show the pictorial graph also in this web, we can say in this flow chart, or this is the pictorial graph also, and you will understand the basic theories related to a textbook too here. So if you are understanding this lecture, you need to also study and take your lecture along with your textbook. If you are watching me right now live, or we can say on the YouTube of your application, then you should also keep your textbook with you so that you all can refer it out here. So what is tsunami? Let's understand. The tsunami is actually one of the larger waves which is actually created due to some kinds of earthquake. Now tsunami waves are very powerful, if you know about that, which is also caused by the earthquake under the sea. Now if you talk about the dates, then we need to understand on 26th of the December 2004, a tsunami hit Thailand and somehow of the part of India such as nearing to Andaman and Nicobar also island. So the Tamil Nadu also experienced this coast. Here are some of the stories of the courageous people who made themselves to suffer actually come out from the tsunami. So let's read about this kinds of people and the stories related to that here. So did animals sense tsunami? Can you imagine that? Animals like dog, frog, snake, we can say birds and all, are they can understand some kinds of factor related to tsunami before the tsunami is coming? Is it possible? If yes, let's check it out here in this lesson. So we'll start from the story number 1. This story is all about a person living for, or we can say going in the Andaman and Nicobar to spend some kinds of holidays. Andaman and Nicobar archipelagos there. Now what is the meaning of archipelagos? Archipelagos means somehow the different broken parts or the pieces of the small land into water or into seas and all, or the ocean also. So we can say Igneous, the first character, he's a man and he's having a family, was the manager of the cooperative society, okay, in the Kachal. That is the name given there. You can see everything over the blackboard. So now when he is actually a manager, he is managing his all the kinds of work, and his we can say wife is a housewife here. So his wife woke him up at the 6 a.m. in the morning. Now why she woke him up? Because there was a reason for that. Because sea in the Kachal somehow felt the earthquake. Earthquake means the shaking of the earth, as I have also explained you in the SS what is epicenter, hypocenter, and how earthquake can be measured by the seismograph, or we can say seismograph also. So therefore this is not the end of the story or the starting of the story. It is going more further than that. What is that? Let's check it out here. Now Igneous carefully took his 12 we can say basic television, not the 12 television, a television. He took his television, set off the table. Why? Because if the television is falling, it will create a cause damage to him also, as well the financial damage also. Put it down so that it should not be falling there. Then the family rushed out of the house to save themselves. When the tremors stopped, when the shaking stopped, they were thinking that now what can be done next? What can be done next? What can be taken the steps related to the next phrase here? Now they became in the chaos and the confusion also. 2 of his children caught hold the hands of their mothers and father, and mother brother also, as well you can say that. Okay, they rushed into the opposite direction. Now he never saw that kind of thing again. They never saw them again, because they went somewhere. His wife was also swept away with the water as well. Only the 3 other children who came with we can say who came with her were also saved by him. But apart from the other members were somehow went out. He was trying to struggle to hold that kind of people. So we can say that Sanjeev was a policeman, if you go more further, serving in the Kachal in the same state. Now serving as a policeman in the island of Andaman and Nicobar island, he also saw somehow to manage. He also managed somehow to escape or to save himself, his wife and his baby also, and the daughter also, from the waves. But if we go more further, we can say that, but then he heard the cries to help, to getting help. Now who was that here? From the wife of John, friend's wife. So somehow we can say the guest house cook basically was about to drown out. So therefore we can say that Sanjeev actually jumped into the water to rescue her, but they were both swept away. Means the cook actually went away in the destructive wave of tsunami. Can you imagine? It's a so dangerous story. So therefore we can say that 13-year-old Meghna, the another story is related to Meghna. Meghna was swept along with her, okay, parents, and 77-year-old other we can say 77 other people also swept along with the tsunami. Whenever tsunami is coming, my dear students, we need to understand it is actually the cause of destruction, or we can say it is the invitation to the destruction, because these kinds of waves are only one of the waves which are actually trying to make all the humanity wipe out from the earth. And why this is happening? It's a natural process. In some rare cases, only tsunamis are basically occurred by landslides or the volcanic eruption. But in the most of the cases, tsunami is actually taking place due to the earthquake created under the seabeds. So therefore we can say that because she was brought to the shore wave. Now when she was actually waiting for the helicopters, she was actually walking 2 days near the she waves. So we're talking about the Meghna, who is a 13-year-old girl, and Meghna, who is we can say like a 13-year-old Meghna, which was about to step out from these waves also. So whenever we are having this kinds of tsunami, we can say that rescuing operations are done by NDRF, or other teams are also there. So therefore we can say holding a wooden door, she was hanging in her own home, 2 days floating in the sea, and therefore literally holding a wooden door. 11 times she saw the relief helicopters overhead, but none of them, or no of the time was there when the helicopter tried to get her, but they did not see her, as I tell you in this story, as I am trying to make you understand. Sometimes whenever you are stuck inside the tsunami, you need to save yourself, but before shouting you need to wave your hand. You can wave your hand, you can wave some of the clothes also, because from the above surface helicopters are we can say helicopters are flying, they are unable to see you, because you will be seen very tiny, and they can unable to identify is that a man or an object here, or a human beings here. So therefore we can say that now she was about to board to the she waves. Now she was brought to the shore by the waves, slowly and slowly the waves were there, and she was carried out, Meghna, and then she found the seashore, and in the days walking she just tried to make save herself. So same as we can say Almaz Javed was 10-year-old. We are talking about the series of the people who actually witnessed the tsunami and they saved themselves, and also they are trying to share the story. So Almaz Javed was 10-year-old. Now he was a boy. Almaz Javed was 10-year-old, and she was a student of a Carmel convent in the Port Blair. As you have seen Port Blair inside the map. So therefore, where her father had a petrol pump, means she was belonged to a good family. And after that, what happened? Her mother Rahelia, she was at home. Rahelia's home was in the we can say Nancori Island, and also the family had gone there to celebrate the Christmas. Sometime to celebrate the Christmas, we are actually visiting our family's home, we are visiting our neighbor's home, we are visiting our we can say cousin's home also, or we are planning a trip for the another place too here. So this was same happening with the Almaz Javed family, and therefore we can say that when the tremors came early in the morning, the family was sleeping. As in the morning we all are sleeping, there is no chances that we'll wake up, because we are getting the sixth sense to understand tsunami. No, it's not possible. So she was also sleeping, we can say, with the family, and Almaz's father saw the sea water receding, and generally means going back. Sometimes what is happening, the water of the tsunami, how it can be coming, how you can identify when most of the water of the seas are going back, means they are going down. You can understand why they are going back, because they will create a huge wave, and then they will come. These wave could be more than 10-12 floor building also, 10-12 floor stories building also. So you need to understand these kinds of waves are very destructive, my dear students, and they are worth killable to you. So therefore he understood that the water come rushing back with a great force. That's why the water was receding. पानी पीछे जाता है और फिर वो एकदम से आएगा. That is also one of the basic characteristics of tsunami. He woke early in the morning as they ran, and her grandfather was hit on the head by the something fell upon down. Means in the tsunami, if the house is falling down, something could be hitting you. You can see the figure here, how the house is actually broken down, the wall are falling in, like different kind of things are happening. On the page number 26 also you can see this out here. So therefore here she is actually telling that the story is very pathetic and the story is very destructive also, heartbreaking story it is there. So if you go more further, as they ran, the grandfather actually met with an accident, means something head injury is happening to the grandfather, and her father rushed to help him. Then they came, we can say, first tried to save them, and then came the first giant wave and swiped both of them away. Now the giant wave is coming and the father and the grandfather is going away. So the Almaz mother and aunt stood clingingly towards the leaves of the coconut tree. As you know that coconut trees are maximum inside this kinds of areas, and also clinging over we can say clinging over the coconut tree, they were trying to make themselves comfortable as a wave uprooted the tree, and they too were washed away with the wave. Wherever this kinds of tsunamis are there, these are merciless wave. They have no any kind of mercy. So Almaz saw a wooden we can say wood floating material was it was a wooden material. Therefore she climbed on, and then she became fainted, means she was not in the conscious mode, she just fainted and she was just sleeping there. Where the waves are taking the water and where the water is taking the wood, nothing she was knowing about. So she climbed on then, and then she fainted. When she woke up, she was actually in the hospital. Now where was the hospital? This can be a question asked in the examination, my dear students. You must understand the theory which I am trying to make you understand. So when Almaz was shifted in the hospital, it was at the Kamotra, that you need to understand here. In the Kamotra, that's a place there. Now from there, she saw she was brought to the Port Blair, and the little girl does not want to talk about the incident because she was actually traumatized and she was all alone. Nobody was there. The grandfather arrived away, The mother wiped away, aunt also wiped away. Now she was all alone. So therefore we can say that it's a very dangerous story related to the first part, where most of the people related to the Port Blair, the Kachals, are generally wiped out with the help of, or we can say with the destructive wave of the tsunami. Now the story is not having the end here. If we move to the second part, you can see a beautiful little girl who is also sharing the story here. Now Tilly is the name. Tilly also you can call out here. Tilly Smith, a British and schoolgirl, means she is a British schoolgirl, was able, somehow we can say that she was able to save many lives when tsunami struck the Phuket beach in the Thailand. It's the Phuket beach in the Thailand. So now which kind of beach is that? Let me show you out here. In this figure you can see this beach is very beautiful. This beach is very beautiful, my dear student, but this beach was only the reason where we can say that she met with the accident related to the tsunami. That's a very dangerous process here. So therefore in the Phuket beach in the Thailand, and though she was one of the number we can say won a number of awards, her parents have not allowed her daughter to be in like interviewed on the television and made her heroine. They don't make her daughter a heroine. You know, sometimes when we are saving some kinds of people, when we are trying to do some kinds of good job, the people are taking our interviews, they're calling us, and they're also making us to try to express our feeling, what we felt at that time, what we felt in the time of tsunamis and all, and how we were dealing with the people, how we're saving that. But describing that kind of thing also somehow can be traumatizing you, so you can be also going from the mental trauma. Therefore they were not allowing her to come on the television here. So therefore why do they do so? Let's check it out in this lesson here. Now we can say that the story is actually rotating around the lands of Thailand. So as you know that I have made you to understand the Phuket beach also and the Phuket Island. Now here is a story related to the Thailand. So the Smith family from the southeast England were celebrating Christmas. Now what they were celebrating? Christmas at the beach resort in the southern part of the Thailand. Now Tilly Smith is a 10-year-old schoolgirl, and her parents, sister and 7-year-old were there. Now their parents were Penny and Colin Smith. That you need to understand. Parents, mother and father. In December 26, 2004, deadly tsunami waves were somehow rushed towards, we can say, already in their way, and they had been somehow triggered by massive earthquake also of the, we can say, northern Sumatra region earlier in the morning here. So in the 2004, we can say they were already disturbed by the waves, which were very dangerous wave. We can say that the waves were somehow destructive wave. Now, it was early in the morning. The water actually went swelling inside, kept coming in. Penny Smith remembered that thing. The beach was getting smaller and smaller. I didn't know what was happening. Penny is telling that I don't know what was happening at that time. I saw. See, my dear student, as I told you, it's a very opposite theory. It's a very opposite theory where the water is receding down. पूरा पानी नीचे चला जाता है और फिर वो एकदम से हाइट लेकर आएगा. तो आपको लगेगा यार ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? How can this happening? Tsunami, ये तो एकदम से आना चाहिए, but no, the water will go back. It will create a foam, जो इसने देखा था. Okay, Penny. So, but Tilly Smith sensed that something was wrong. Tilly Smith को लगता है नहीं कुछ गलत है. And when she found that something was wrong, she was also trying to understand, my dear students, that what is wrong in that. Okay, and therefore she was trying to know that let's check it out, okay, what is wrong here. So Tilly Smith seemed that something is wrong, and which was not kept in her mind back to the geography lesson that was taught already in the geography lesson. Now she was thinking that, yeah, I heard somewhere, my teacher has made me understand in the geography lesson. As the mother is telling something is wrong with the beach here, she has taken the glance, which has taken actually geography lesson in the England just 2 weeks before, flew out the Thailand with her family here. After taking the lesson, she made the view to come and celebrate the Christmas Eve in the Thailand. Now what will happen? You just imagine what is taught to save you in the disaster management is also actually one of the basic theory which is related to the concept of belief, where you can say that you are actually wishing to go and celebrate your holidays at a place, and there only you are meeting with the earthquake, and your teacher has already told you about the earthquake, and they have also made you to understand how you can save yourself by the earthquake here. So she is telling that Tilly saw these kinds of silly waves coming near to him, the slowly rising and started to foam out also. As I told you, my dear students, it was making some kinds of foam. Bubbles were created like the whirlpools here, and she remembered that it was a dangerous moment here. Now in her class, in the video of tsunami that it hit, she already saw that in 1946 which kind of destructive wave hit the we can say Hawaiian island in 1946. So her geography teacher had shown her the class video also and told that tsunamis can be causing many kinds of changes to the geographical location also, and most often they are destructive here. And why they are occurring? Because of the earthquake inside the we can say like big gangs water. It can be sea or the ocean to here. Tilly started to scream at the family. Scream means she started to shout at the family to get off the beach. Bhago yahan se. Evacuate. Evacuate means ye jagah khali kar do. Run from here, she said. She talked about the earthquake, and her mother said that, Penny, I don't know what a tsunami was. Mother is saying, hey, don't worry. सुनामी क्या है ऐसा कुछ नहीं, मैंने नहीं सुना यार, डोंट वरी कुछ नहीं होगा. बट सीइंग माय डॉटर, वी कैन से सीइंग माय डॉटर सो फ्राइटेंड, द मदर इज टेलिंग दैट आई थॉट समथिंग सीरियस मस्ट बी गोइंग ऑन, कुछ डेंजरस होने वाला है. सो टिलीज पेरेंट टुक हर सिस्टर अवे, उसकी सिस्टर को सबसे पहले अवे किया, वहाँ से दूर ले गए, एंड देन फ्रॉम द बीच टू द स्विमिंग पूल एट द होटल. यू कैन सी हियर एवरीथिंग इज डिस्प्लेइंग. ओके, तो नाउ एक्चुअली शी इज गोइंग टुवर्ड्स द होटल रूम, एंड नाउ देन इट वाज एन एंटायर सी कमिंग आफ्टर देम हियर. सो आई सॉ स्क्रीमिंग रन, और मैंने देखा लोग वहां से चिल्ला रहे थे. They were just shouting to run and run. The family took a refuge camp inside the third floor of the hotel. Means they were just made themselves locked inside the third floor of the hotel, and therefore the building stood the surge 3, we can say like tsunami waves here. The building was hit with the basic 3 tsunami waves. Means surge means it's a force, a very huge momentum force here. So therefore then also we can say that they were trying to make themselves alive. If they had stayed on the beach, obviously they would not have been set alive. So now it is said by the mother of Tylee Smith that it was thank God that we were actually running back to the hotel and we took the refuge. Means we were actually staying there, shelter from the protection for the daughter here. So we can say that it is one of the story where they are trying to tell this kinds of tale, which is actually very dangerous, a terrifying tale. So in this lesson we can say that the Smith later met to the other tourists and also who had lost their entire family. After the tsunami, they met. Smith, the father, met with the other tourists also, as well the girl also met, the family met with the other tourists who lost their families, as I said you in the part number first, in the Kachals, how they lost port players and all. So same as we can say that thanks to Tylee and her geography teacher also, means thanks to that lady and the geography teacher also, she's telling that who has actually informed her girl and made her to see the video of the tsunami. Like, I am trying to make you understand through this video lab how the tsunami is there. कभी ऐसा होता है तो आप बच सकते हो. तो तुम लोग बोलोगे thanks to sir, because in this video lecture he made us to understand about the tsunami. It's a general thing. So apart from that, we can say Tylee went back to the school in England and told her classmates also about the terrifying story related to the tsunami. So this is one of the basic story which is related to the tsunami, and now we are going, we can say, back to the lesson in which third portion you can see out here. Now what is the third portion? Third portion is showing you that how a boy is sitting. He is so lonely. You can see it out here with the yellow t-shirt. He is sitting so lonely and something is in his hand. It is looking like a dog or something kind of other thing here. So let's check it out, which kind of image is that and what is the story of this third part of this lesson here. In this third part, we can say, look carefully at the picture. You can see carefully at the picture. What is it showing here? His dog is there actually, as I said you, the black color of the dog. And he's trying to describe, we can say, describe the things that you see. Using this kinds of words and phrases, either you can also make your own sense, and either the teacher or any student can write down some kinds of lines too here. This is how you can start, like calm blue sea ruined the hearts. You can make some kinds of poem also by that. So we can say that the story is actually about a very basic and general character. Let's check it out here. The third part of the story says that before the giant waves somehow slammed means bang, hitting directly into the coast in the India and Sri Lanka, the international waters, Indian Ocean, we can say wild and domestic animals were also somehow, before coming of the tsunami, they were aware of that. The question arises here, can these kinds of animal tell you that tsunami can be coming before the tsunami is hitting? Do they are having some kinds of sixth sense? If yes, let's check it out here. So this story is relating with this kinds of theories here, and if you go more further in the story, then we can say that before the giant wave slammed into the coast of India and Sri Lanka, basically wild animal, domestic animals seems to be panicked out, and to know what was about to happen, they fled to the safety. Means the people of there, they fled to the safety here. The dog started barking, the frog came out, the snake came out, bird started chirping and all. It was dangerous. According to the eyewitnesses, if you talk about what happened there, coconuts, trees, and nearby that the air started blowing faster. Elephants and all, eyewitnesses says that about that, okay, the elephants screamed loudly. As well, they ran helter and skelter here. The dogs refused to go outside. When a person is taking dogs, it is actually telling no to outside, means it is not trying to go also there. Then the flamingos abandoned their low-lying breedings also. They just flew away in the areas here, and they were not related to the low-lying area. The flamingos, the pink color of the bird, and also we can say zoo animal rushed into the shelter. They went back to the shelter, and also they were not coming out to see the people here. It was quite different thing here. Many people think that animal possesses sixth sense. If it is true, it can be true, because I have seen many times that before the kinds of natural disasters and the calamities, most of the animals are coming out to save themselves and to run from the area where the disasters are coming, which is also actually displayed in this third part of the story. So many people believe that animal possesses sixth sense, and also the sense is making them to come out of their places and to run helter and skelter before the shake is coming about the earthquake or any kind of natural calamities are there. Some experts believe that animals are more acute of the hearing, helps them to hear the feel of the vibration related to the earth, as well the earthquake to hear. Means they can hear what we can't hear. So that's a general thing. They can cause an approaching disaster before, they can also predict the approaching disaster before us, and they can run from here. And in the condition of R, we are not able to do that kind of thing. So we cannot be sure about the animals, but we can say that whether the animals have the sixth sense or the people are not having that kind of sixth sense is a biological term of the sense to believe or to do the investigation on that. Therefore we can say but the fact is that the giant wave actually rolled over and over, like it killed more than, we can say, like 150,000 of the people in the dozens of the countries. So but no many animals were somehow reported to be harmed. Some of the animals were dead, but not extra or much animals were dead. This can be a reason, it can be shows that it can be one of the basic factors that why animals death ratio is less in this kinds of disaster, which is a very strong signification that animals are having a different kind of sense where they can believe or they can make themselves actually run from the area before any kind of the natural disasters. That's why I'm taking the serious lesson related to you, that animals are also having some kinds of, or animals are having the sixth sense activated, and they can listen more powerful, they can listen acute than us. After going in this lecture, we can also understand that along with the India's Cuddalore coast, where thousands of the people died, and the actually buffaloes, goats, dogs were found like unharmed, they were still alive. So what is this happening? It can be also one of the example where the animals are having sixth sense, and that's why they moved from that place, they evacuated themselves from the place, and now they are alive. So therefore we can say that it's a variety of the thing which we need to understand here. The Yala National Park, in the Sri Lanka has been also witnessing these kinds of things. That is a variety of the animals, including elephants, are there, leopards are there, or other varieties of the, we can say, snakes are there. 130 species of the birds are there. 60 visitors were also washed away here, but the animals were somehow staying there. Animals saved themselves by running from that area. So therefore we can say that Patalanga beach also inside the park, animals were saved, but no animals somehow, we can say, were harmed in a higher amount if we talk about the ratio of the death rate of the life and the material inside these kinds of waves of tsunami. So this story is not ending till here only. We can say that animals can be having some kinds of different sense here. An hour later, or we can say an hour before, the tsunami hit the people at the Yala National Park at we can say Sri Lanka. They also observed that 3 elephants run away. They just ran away from the Patalanga's beach here, because they were also thinking that this kinds of waves are going to come after some time. So why we can't understand this thing? That is only the one thing, because we are not having that kind of sixth sense activated, we are only 5 sense activated here. And after that we can say Sri Lanka is one of the gentlemen who is living who lives at the coastal near the, we can say, Gal, said that his 2 dogs were also somehow, they were not trying to go on the daily routine of the run. Why? They refused to go. Now, what was the reason? As I said you before, that dogs were also refusing to go on this kinds of ride or the walk. Why? Because they also somehow were having some kinds of sense that something is wrong. Something is wrong which is going to be happen, so we should not go here. Dogs were also having some kinds of sixth sense in this story. So as per, we can say, a Sri Lankan gentleman who was living at the coastal near the Galley said that okay, my dogs refuse to go on this kinds of we can say daily routine here. So they were unusually excited to go somehow on the beach, but somehow we can say on this daytime they refused to go, and almost they probably saved his life too here, as dogs were not going, he was also not going there. So the man was saved by the dog, as you can see in the figure. And therefore we can say that this lesson is all related to the tsunami and the tsunami wave also. And whenever, my dear students, I would like to tell you that whenever there is some kinds of disturbance which you can feel during the earthquake and all, you should run away from there, and also you should try to save yourself, because these kinds of general things are only the best steps taken from your side before the disaster. Also save your people of the family, and whenever you are going to visit any kind of places, before you go, you must check the weather condition also of the state, area, country, or any kind of island too here. This lecture was all about the tsunami and the people who survived from the tsunami. So I hope you understood this lecture very well, and the story inspired you also how to save people after saving yourself. And one thing you need to understand, my dear student, if you don't know how to save people, you should not jump in that. You can make yourself and that person also in danger. Be safe, live healthy. We'll see you in the next part of any fresh new brand lesson. Till then, you can keep revising. Until I'm not getting you a fresh new lesson, you can just make your own practice and also get some videos and examples related to tsunami and boost up your knowledge too here. Jai Hind.